Welcome back to Dylan with Sid Meier's Colonization, where we continue the colonization of the Americas as the French. These we might actually keep as ore miners. We'll have to see what happens. Horses are actually down to a super cheap price in France, like 3 gold to buy them, which is really impressive. And we built a stable and safe harbor, so I want to switch over to an armory for the next production. Once we get Adam Smith, we'll want a proper coat factory built. The horse population is actually getting low enough that I am considering disarming my dragoons temporarily, at least down to just being soldiers, and then growing the horses with their horses that they're using. We're going to send a lumberjack from Proxima over to Lake Erie and start working that timber right up there. Now this carpenter, I'm going to send the carpenter over to Ironhold because we've only got 2 carpenters in Gunny and Ironhold. That'll put them at the maximum of 3 once we get 1 more carpenter trained up to go over to Gunny. We don't need to actually build anything in these satellite colonies other than maybe a docks or a warehouse, because quite simply they have no need for anything else really. Maybe a stable if we decide to grow horses there, or a lumber mill to build the rest of the other items quicker, of course. Yeah, let's actually start a lumber mill in Lumberton should we decide to build anything here. That'll make everything else quicker. So it's 1643, and the King of the Netherlands is considering granting independence to their colonies. 20 out of 79 of the Dutch colonists currently support independence. Apparently once 40 colonists support liberty, the Dutch colonies will just get their freedom without a fight. Annoyingly, the AI colonies don't have to fight for independence in this game. They do in the later one, but not in this one. If they get to independence before we do, our score will be lower, but I'm not too sure how much I care about that. We're pretty close to winning. We're about probably halfway there in terms of army. Once we've gotten Farmville built and then 2 ore mining colonies, we might be pretty much set to just build pure army at that point and then declare independence right after that. We'll see how it goes. I'm not too worried about declaring independence before the Dutch do, but I also don't want the series to take forever, you know? If I were just playing this to enjoy it, I would really possibly just play it as long as I want. Because I enjoy like the economics of this game quite a bit. It's simplified economics, but it's economics. And we now have 6 blacksmiths in total. One of the training blacksmiths is going to go in the blacksmith shop. The other blacksmith is going to get pulled out of the university, sent up north to Gunny, and to reinforce the blacksmiths up there. Do we want to build anything else in Ironhold is a question. I believe we just finished an artillery. Realistically, I don't think there's anything else that we would like to build other than more artillery here. We're going to need a fortress eventually. I'm still trying to figure out whether or not I want to be offensive during the Independence War or defensive. With enough artillery and a fortress, we're basically impregnable, but you do get an ambush bonus against the REF, just like the natives have against you, so I gotta figure out which one exactly I want to do. We could just do both. I say we just continue to build more artillery. I don't see any reason not to do so. Especially with our increased tool production, we can supply plenty of tools for musket production and for terraforming the land. I'm not going to need that much more terraforming of the land too though. The arrival of some more colonists in Proxima makes me wonder what to do. This free colonist is becoming a lumberjack, which means that that lumberjack will be free to move elsewhere. I'm going to move that lumberjack up to Gunny to replace this ore miner eventually, which means I have 1 ore miner here, and I have 1 ore miner right here in Proxima. So that means that I could easily supply the ore miners for the colony right here to access this ore deposit and that ore deposit. That means I need just 2 ore miners extra to mine here and here, which are coming on the ship right now. So then I've got the farmers that I'm training. The farmers will provide the food for those colonies. Realistically, I don't think I need carpenters for the colonies up there, nor do I really think I need carpenters for, say, Lake Erie or Lumberton, either of them. So I really need just 1 more carpenter for Gunny, which means that I should train 1 more carpenter. So I'm going to train 1 more carpenter here in Proxima. If I feel like making more carpenters, I will do so. However, like I said, I'm pretty sure that I'm not far away from winning the Independence War. The Dutch have decided to bring us some population. Let's see if we can't take that population from them. First shot, here we go. We got them, very good. And here come second shot. Let's see if we can bring them down. We lost, unfortunate. They actually promoted to veteran, which is going to make future battles a little bit more difficult. We've got them down to colonists, very nice indeed. They should be an easy kill after this. Come on, you have to join us now. Let's see what we got. We got another free colonist. I guess they do lose their veterancy then. With the new special artillery, I'm going to move that up north to guard the ore colonies. And I think I'm actually going to begin marching northwards to establish those colonies right now. Basically forming like an unbroken chain of dragoons. The English have actually founded a second colony. Penop something. I do not know what that is. Penobscot? I guess they were hoping to get that timber. It's a good thing I settled this colony pretty fast and put that carpenter in place, so they cannot have it. Actually, there's no reason I can't attack that colony right now. I would do that. Shouldn't settle near me, bro. Hey, that was a veteran colonist that ran away. Hey, he's still a veteran. Very nice. So we will pull him out and give him some guns. Impressively enough, the merchantman is almost already done. We don't even have a proper full 3... Well, we did. After 3 turns, we're almost all the way there. We got 2 more turns left to go. Very good. Boy. Well, that's not that bad. So I moved a dragoon above Gunny to begin building a road that direction. There are some mounted braves up here. They're not mounted warriors, so they're strength 2, not strength 3. They will still get an ambush bonus against us if they decide to attack. I'm of course making sure that I always have at least 2 dragoons available in each tile, just in case one of them gets routed. And this ore miner will be heading north. We'll send the artillery north as well. And I believe pretty soon we'll pull the ore miner out here, but not immediately. I want the farmers trained up first. I'll send the farmers north along with the ore miner. And about that time we should be having the carpentry in place in Gunny. The Dutch are over here as well as what used to be the Spaniards. Thankfully there aren't any fortresses to shoot my privateer. This free colonist I'm going to send down to Ironhold to become trained as a fisherman. I've got one more ocean spot I can make use of in Ironhold that I'd like to make use of. That should provide more food so that we can grow horses faster. Looking at all my colonies, I currently have enough muskets stored to arm 11 more colonists. And I have 13 soldiers at the moment, either veterans or dragoons, / future soldiers, which means I could arm 24 troops. That's pretty good. We're pretty close to the point that I don't feel like I'd need more musket production. I think I'd like to aim for 30 / maybe 40 soldiers of some sort. Beyond that, I might consider actually selling muskets in Europe because they do sell for a lot of money. There was another commenter that talked about that was actually a pretty good idea, and thinking about that, that does make sense considering how freaking expensive muskets are in Europe. They sell for 19, which is as much as silver used to sell for in the beginning of the game. Rum, of course, is up to 19, which is really impressive. But it's actually easier for us to manufacture muskets now than it would be to manufacture rum. Of course, rum is only one step, sugar to rum, whereas muskets are ore to tools to muskets. So you could argue that rum would be more efficient. However, we don't have access to sugar is the main problem. We got that armory built in safe harbor, so now we can start making progress towards artilleries if we'd like to do so. We do, however, need to get a fort into a fortress at some point in time. Safe harbor is basically guaranteed to be ground zero of the REF, so let's start working on a fort first. A Dutch frigate was sighted moving southeast towards their colonies down here. I also saw a merchantman, I'll take that. English galleon over here, but I'll go ahead and take this shot on the merchantman. It's a lot easier to bring down than, say, a galleon is. Let's move a little bit further south, away from the Dutch frigate. The frigate's probably 2 to 3 turns away though. Let's take the shot. They have 1 cargo on there. I'm going to say that that cargo might actually be muskets. Let's find out. They evaded. Too bad. We've got ourselves the colonists right here, so let's put the fishermen into the university, put the colonists into the water. I am missing 1 elder statesman in Gunny, so I think I'd like to maybe get 1 more elder statesman for Gunny, but realistically it's not that important. At this point, what is more important is tools, horses, surprisingly enough, and not so much muskets, but we do need to probably double our production of muskets, at least to potentially sell to Europe, and then potentially food, or just anything that sells pretty well. The more that we can sell, the more population that we can bring in, the bigger army that we can field. This mounted brave made the mistake of not attacking us. I am not going to make the mistake of leaving it alive. We will attack them. He should stop asking me if we should attack. There we go. I am probably going to burn down this native village pretty soon. It's not a requirement because I will have artilleries dug into the colonies, but these 3 villages are going to be a bit of a problem. The Iroquois capital is up here. I could burn that down and then the rest would chill out. I would like to save that for when I have some more non-veteran dragoons though. I am going to stand down my dragoons that are in gunny so the horses can go breed, although we don't actually produce enough food here to really justify that, so I'll just keep them as they are. We only produce an extra 4 food. We might be able to squeeze out a few more horses. Let's see if it works. No, we don't have the food income to grow enough horses, but I could move those horses elsewhere, so I'll just move the horses using the wagon train. Why not? We'll just make a point of not attacking the other Europeans for a little while. We'll give them some respite. Looking at our situation, we have quite the standing army. I could wait, build up the army further, or I could sell the muskets that I have on hand, make a crap ton of money, buy a bunch of people, and just make more muskets sooner. I mean, it snowballs. Like, what are we going to do for standing army? There's no way that we can take on, say, Jamestown. Jamestown has a veteran dragoon inside it. That's a strength 3. So it's strength 3 times 100% with a stockade times another 50% for being a veteran. That puts us at 9 strength on the defensive for them. If we attack with an artillery, I think that's strength 7, right? Yeah, strength 7. If we attack with an artillery into a settlement, strength 7. That means that more likely than not, we're going to lose that fight. Now actually, that's a fort, so that's 150% strength, not 100%. Now, sieging Jamestown does not make sense. We could, in theory, burn down the Iroquois village right here, and then assault Plymouth. Well, Plymouth. We could assault Plymouth. Depending on the number of invaders that are inside Plymouth, we could take Plymouth and get 10 population. Or I could just sell the muskets I have right now. I've got 300 muskets in Proxima, ready to be sold, plus another 100 in Safe Harbor, and 76 in Gunny. So that's about 500 muskets. 500 muskets at 19 each is 9,500 gold. That's worth 15 colonists. There's going to be a price drop, of course, but there won't be like a huge price drop. That's a lot of colonists. Our educational facilities are pretty empty at the moment. We could definitely use more colonists to educate. Yeah, we've got, at this moment, actually only 6 spots open, but more spots will be open quite rapidly. And we've got the merchantman almost finished building. I say we go ahead and do it. We don't need more soldiers, we just need horses for dragoons. That's our health pool. We can sell the muskets right now. Let's go ahead and let's set that up. So we're going to start selling muskets. That will circumvent the taxes, hopefully. At least the internet says so. And we should make a crap ton of money. Oh, the Dutch and the English are now at war. Very interesting. I'm kind of hoping I did not forget to make peace with the English. A surprise raid near Gunny. I do have some dragoons properly dug in though, fortified, so hopefully we should be fine. Well, never mind, they were not dug in like I thought they were. So we actually have pretty decent odds of losing these horses. Hey, we got them, good deal. Yeah, they require a bit of a pain. Burning down those villages and then taking down the capital will be a pretty good choice. And that rapidly, the English and Dutch sign a peace treaty. It looks like they might be using the same tactics we've been using, which might be a little concerning for us. I wonder if the AI realizes that they can attack us if they have Benjamin Franklin. They can't force us to agree to peace as far as I know. That would be silly for the human. Yeah, we'll pay your taxes, buddy. Sure. Jacob Fugger? Sure. I don't really care much about you. You hide in the back. I literally have never heard of you. We got a farmer trained up in Gunny. Very good. And another farmer. So those farmers are going to go north to establish the ore mining colonies. We're going to pull out the ones that were doing the training and send them on their way. At the same time, we're going to try to form a road that direction. There we go. I got Adam Smith as my next option. We'll take that immediately. Goodness, so we built a merchantman in Proxima, we had a population growth, and we trained a lumberjack. Very wonderful indeed. So we need to pull one lumberjack out. I need to swap the colonist over so that he can actually do his proper job. No. And then I need to swap out the colonists to be on the correct tiles since they did not train the ones doing the actual work. There you go. training up that carpenter still. Interesting question as to what I would like to do with this free colonist. I'm kind of thinking gunsmith. I think it's about time we get a second gunsmith rolling. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Let's send him north. And out rolls our first merchantman, ready to head on to Europe. And hopefully not get sunk on the way because I didn't move it to where the frigate is. But we can give him some protection on the way. Oh my god, don't tell me I just moved the wrong one. Yes, I moved the wrong one. Come back home. You gotta check which one you have activated, Dylan. I moved the wrong caravel that still had the ore miners on it, unfortunately. That'll cost us a couple turns, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna beat the Dutch. It's taken them this long to get to 20 colonists supporting independence. Chances are it'll take them quite long to get to 40. Surprisingly enough, the price of muskets didn't even drop when we just sold like 250 of the damn things. So we're at 5,333 gold. If we go over to Europe, I could buy some fur traders or weavers, but again, still no reason to really do that. What I'll do instead is just go ahead and buy some expert ore miners. I'll buy 3 of those right now, and then I'll see how cheap this free colonist is once the merchantman comes into town, which puts us at 3,533 gold. So now we have an interesting question as to what we need to do now. We could build another merchantman, and that would take about 4 to 5 turns. Probably 5 turns. Alternatively, I could simply buy a merchantman right now in France. I say we go ahead and switch to artillery production. 5 turns to build a merchantman is going to be quite a while, especially since I do believe that we can buy a merchantman now, or buy a galleon. We could buy a galleon. 50% more gold for only 1 more cargo slot doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Let's just buy a merchantman. So we'll buy a merchantman. We've got enough gold still on hand to train up yet another ore miner if we wanted to. Or we just pick up the free colonist for 508 gold. I'll take the free colonist. So we'll set them sailing. So now we have 6 colonists inbound from Europe because I screwed up that caravel. We're gonna need to find places for them. We're growing super rapidly. Selling muskets is actually a pretty good idea once you've got a proper standing army. Or Benjamin Franklin to defend yourself. Plus the whole native problem. Got ourselves an English galleon laden down with a little bit of cargo. Let's take the shot, why not? We're strength 18 versus a strength of about 9. So we have probably a 66% chance roughly of winning. Nope. Once again, we continue our streak of losing against galleons. I think we've won once or twice, I'm not sure. Can't quite remember. Blacksmith has arrived in Gunny, so we're going to assign him to the blacksmith shop. 1 arrow, pumping out 96 tools per turn, which is pretty wonderful. Once we get Adam Smith rolling, as well as a greater ore income and the proper ironworks built in Gunny and Ironhold, should be up to significantly more. So I am significantly outstripping my lumber supply, so I'm going to move a carpenter that got just done teaching another carpenter in Proxima up to Lumberton. And we're going to make Lumberton a greater source of lumber. I've actually also realized that what I can do about keeping the Europeans mostly out of my land, other than the whole coming into my land by ship, is to simply block these 4 tiles right here with dragoons, and then they cannot move past, which only leaves the ones on the mountain, which I suspect will never move again. With these dragoons stationed, I'm also going to stand down the dragoons that I have in Lake Erie and turn them into regular soldiers so that I can start breeding their horses as well. Well, I should actually stand them down somewhere else because I can't actually grow the horses here. I'll have to set them up elsewhere. That's okay though. That'll just cost me a couple turns because changing the type of the unit also reduces the unit's movement to 0 or something along those lines. I can stand them down. I can get a wagon up here to grab the lumber and or furs at some point as well. I need to kind of do a bit of a trick of grounding a couple more colonies and then just building more wagon trains, because I really need better logistics than what I have available at the moment. Yes, our free colonist that was going to become a gunsmith is ready to begin his training. I'm pretty sure that's what I wanted to do with him. I did make that decision last night, and it's now about 2 p.m. the next day, but I'm pretty sure that's what I decided. Oh, there's 6 cargo. Blah, 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 I don't care. There's 6 cargo on a galleon near Fort Nassau, the Dutch colony. So they're warning us again. That means that there's probably 2 Iroquois standing on that tower right there. Interestingly enough, they're choosing not to attack us, I suppose. They must have run out of movement points. Muskets are finally beginning to fall in price, but they're still worth a lot of money. So now the recruitment pool is only specialists. I'm not going to pull from here immediately. I could do the gunsmiths though. That might be as many gunsmiths as we possibly need, but I don't think it is a thing that we really need to rush. I'd rather just get more population rolling sooner rather than later. So we'll train up some ore miners, send them off to become free colonists. Possibly soldiers, possibly farmers, ore miners, or maybe blacksmiths, I'm not sure exactly. Quite possibly lumberjacks. Or carpenters, who knows. We'll build another artillery and gunny. I don't believe that we need anything else, so we're going to continue building artillery and gunny. We need a lot of artillery to defend us. I believe the same thing applies to Ironhold. Yeah, we're going to leave Ironhold as is. As soon as we get Adam Smith, which is the next founding father, we're going to work on actually setting up level 3 buildings instead of building artillery the whole time. Now I have an extra carpenter to send somewhere else. At this point, the king is kind of adding about one regular every turn to the expeditionary forces, which is a little bit concerning. We may need to hurry up on the whole independence thing, but we are growing rapidly. We're basically exponentially scaling. We have been for the most part the whole game, other than the times that we were slowed down by people blocking our logistics and hanging out around our colonies and such. Let's take the fight to the Iroquois. That is a mounted warrior, so that's a strength 3. We should have pretty decent odds. Yeah, we've got about a 50% higher chance of winning than they do. So again, maybe 2/3. We got them, very good. I'm going to move the damaged artilleries down to safe harbor. We're better off leaving full-fledged artilleries in the northern ore colonies instead of risking losing the damaged artillery entirely. We can have the damaged artillery be like a fairly final line of defense against the REF once they land. Think about it, when we come from France, we spawn in this tile right here, so there's a good chance that our king will probably spawn in the same tile. The shortest distance to our colonies is actually Proxima, so they might land on these 2 tiles. Neither of them are forested, and this is the ocean square touching our colony. So I believe that the king is basically forced to land on a land tile touching a ocean tile that is touching one of our colonies. So neither of these will have force. We'll probably have to focus on simply defending Proxima. From Proxima, we could also move to Ironhold or Safe Harbor in one turn with artilleries. So we should concentrate our artillery in Proxima, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Our merchantman has arrived, so we're just going to buy a ton of ore miners. We don't need really anything else. We'll go ahead and pick that up. Recruitment is still more expensive than 600 gold, and I might as well keep driving that down until I can get the gunsmith for much cheaper than 600. Training the gunsmith would take 6 turns, and it's reasonable that we could just buy the gunsmith. But I also don't want to reduce our tool production at the moment. We're probably going to stop selling muskets at this point, at least temporarily, because we do need to start arming up some more regular troops with our population increase, and then attacking the natives to train them into veterans. But it is good now that we have another fisherman, so that I can properly work all these ocean tiles. And we got a fort built in Safe Harbor. Very good, very good. After that, we might want to begin working on the fortress next. It's going to take quite a while to build, so we need to work towards it for about 7-8 turns, I believe. Let's start that now. And based on our hammer production, it's actually going to take 7 turns. So almost 4 years. But we'll get it done. It's another reason I don't want to reduce my tool production at the moment. Considering that, we might want to go ahead and also build fortresses in our other colonies. So let's switch Proxima over to a fortress. And let's switch Ironhold over to a fortress as well. We have enough artillery on hand that we can easily defend the northern colonies that we'll have, and we have plenty of artillery for the main colonies temporarily, though we really don't need artillery for the main colonies. It's going to be a while before we need any of those. I think I'll do the same in Gunny, switch over to a fortress. Lake Erie, we're probably going to simply abandon Lake Erie when the conflict starts. I don't want to have the REF land up here potentially. I highly doubt that they'll do that anyway, so we could maybe get away with just leaving Lake Erie where it's at. They're almost certainly going to spawn here and then move up to attack Proxima or Safe Harbor. building a fortress in Gunny is probably unnecessary. And in fact, if I could remove these dragoons from these tiles, attacking the RAF on the mountains would be absolutely almost insane, because we'd have a plus 150% bonus against them. It's still good to have the fortress though, just in case. The extra carpenter from Proxima we're going to send up to Gunny, and we're going to turn off the sale of muskets. We definitely need the muskets now, and we're going to clear the specialty of most of those ore miners. We only need 4 ore miners total up here, at least in these 2 colonies. 1 will come from Gunny, 1 is on the way. That means that we should leave 2 ore miners with their specialty, and then strip the specialty from the other 2. One of y'all becomes a non-veteran dragoon, and then we need to find some more muskets elsewhere, which I believe I've sold all of them, which means that the only source of muskets left is in Gunny, which is slowly building up more. We'll just casually move the remaining colonists up there. Privateer is back in action. We're going to send it towards the Dutch because I've seen a lot of galleons sailing around down here by Fort Nassau. So hopefully we'll get some cargoes from some galleons over here. I am heavily considering building this colony right here, the fishing village, and this colony right here, another fishing village, because I need more wagon trains. I need wagon trains bad. Maybe even a colony right there and a colony right here, simply to function as, simply to increment the number of wagon trains that I can have. We're going to begin pushing north so that we can build the first colony that'll begin mining ore. We're being informed that they're just now up to 21 colonists supporting independence in the Dutch colonies, so we have plenty of time. They're barely getting any independence support. And of course the Iroquois are threatening us again. They're actually attacking. Very interesting. Unfortunately, I was not dug in and fortified yet on this tile that I was pushing north, so they do get no fortification bonus for us, and they have a pretty good chance to actually win this combat. And they routed us. Yep. There we go, we got Adam Smith. I may actually switch off of fortress production in that case. In fact, I would say that it is a very good idea to switch off of fortress production. And now, who do we want? Rebirth is all missionaries function as experts. Paul Revere is the defensive dude. Hernando de Soto we don't need anymore. He makes all city rumors positive. Jean de Witt, trade of foreign colonies and foreign affairs report is more revealing. I'm sort of considering doing the missionary guy. Yeah, let's do Jean de Brebeuf. I need to take the fight to the Iroquois, so I'm going to attack with a veteran dragoon that was forming a defensive line. We'll move him back into position in not too long. We should have very good odds of bringing him down. And we got him. Good deal. I'm also going to bring up another veteran dragoon so that I can push towards the... Ooh. Yeah. We've got plenty of time to build the colony, but we'll do it right now. Let's push further north. Once we build the colony, we can set up the artillery. And then the artillery should keep the colony safe at that point. We'll burn down this village here pretty soon. We've got a non-veteran dragoon, plus we'll have more non-veteran dragoons here pretty soon to actually train up to attack. I got him around here somewhere. Ah yes, here he is. I could try taking the fight to him right now. He doesn't have defensive bonus, and we'd have attack bonus, but we wouldn't have veteran bonus. I suspect that attacking this village might also have these guys no matter what, so let's go ahead and give it a shot. Why not? You've got pretty good odds of pulling through. Let's see if you can do it. Hey, you pulled it off. Good deal. I'm going to start training up another fisherman in Proxima so that I can start building the fishing villages. And I also need to switch over to building the arsenal in Gunny, which is the tier 3 building, I believe. Let's double check. Yeah, arsenal is indeed the tier 3 musket production building. Actually, we should probably build the ironworks first. So let's work on the ironworks in Ironhold and Gunny. Both of those are going to get those. Proxima is going to get probably a textile mill. Let's do that first. And then Safe Harbor needs to get a coat factory, I believe it's called. Fur factory. Alright, we'll do that. Got ourselves a merchantman that is very exposed and made the wrong decision of going next to our privateer. So we got ourselves 24 furs and 4 sugar. Wow. Only damaged it, didn't sink it. Too bad. It's a little bit of a haul, but not much. I would have preferred more. The eastern soldiers I'm going to move west over towards Gunny. There's no longer much of a reason to keep them stationed in Lake Erie, with this dragoon stationed here, preventing the English from coming down and harassing us. Since I've sunk many of their ships, I think they have more concerns than sending troops by sea as well. The lack of muskets means that I'm going to educate some more fishermen and gunny as well. Pretty soon I'm going to be rolling in muskets though, once we have 2 gunsmiths and the arsenal built after we build the ironworks. Just going to need to ensure that we have. Thanks for watching Dealing With It. If you liked the video, leaving a like would help the video to reach other people that might also enjoy the video. If you'd like to see more, you can always subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one in episode 14.